All right, so once again, I'm live coming in early day today. Got a lot of things going on today, so got to do it in the day today. Man, what a day, what a day, what a day, they say, right? But here it is. It's part of life. It's just another day in life, you know. You get a chance to try to make it right or fall by the wayside, right? So that's that. All right. A couple of things going on in Virginia. And VA is I always got something going on. I will say that. Okay, so that's that. But nevertheless, that's how life goes, right? So the councilman set on fire.
Gasoline and lit on fire in an attack at his office. Police say the suspect walked into the office of Lee Vogler at the local media outlet where he works, confronting Vogler before covering him in gas. He then ran out of the building where the suspect ignited the fire on Vogler's body, according to police. That person is in custody and could not be reached for comment. But I want to bring in Aaron Gilchrist, who's joining us now. Just horrific details on the story. Aaron, is there any indication this may have been politically motivated?
Well, Hallie, the Danville City Police Department made it a point to say that the suspect and the councilman know each other. They are acquaintances, and that this was an assault that was a result of a personal matter, not a political affiliation or related to his job or of the city council there in Danville. So let me back up a little bit here to what we know about what happened. And this is details coming from both the city police department and Mr. Vogler's boss. City council is a part-time job. His full-time boss, or colleague, I should say, was able to sort of shine some light on the details here. It was about 11:30 this morning, we understand, when someone forced his way into this small office building on Main Street in Danville, according to one of the workers there, and went directly toward Lee Vogler. And then we understand he was carrying a 5-gallon bucket of gas. That's how it was described by his co-worker, and threw that gasoline on Mr. Vogler, who then ran toward the front door to get out of the building, yelling for someone to call 911, and then was set on fire in those moments after that happened. We understand now that police have arrested this acquaintance, a 29-year-old. His name is Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, and he has been charged with attempted first-degree murder as well as aggravated malicious wounding as a result of the attack earlier today. I want you to hear what one of Mr. Vogler's colleagues had to say about this incident that happened inside their office earlier today.
This type of senseless act of violence has to stop. You do not have the right as a human being to get upset with someone enough to lash out and attempt to harm them in any way, much less this way.
Now, I think it's important to point out in that same social media post, we were told that Mr. Vogler was awake and talking when he was taken away by medics earlier today. The city police department saying that he was flown to a regional medical center there in that area. Hallie, this is Danville, Virginia is a small city, about 40,000 or so people in what we call Southside Virginia. It's right on the North Carolina border. And Mr. Vogler had served on the city council there since 2012. He was in his early 20s when he was elected to office there and has been a member of the city council since then, and obviously worked at this small media company as well that serves that Southside, Southern Virginia, Northern North Carolina area.
Aaron Gilchrist, thank you for staying on top of this one. I know a lot of developments coming in. We'll look for updates from you as we get them. Appreciate that.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Harbor Freight tools keep getting better with time. Better performance, better durability.
Well, I was stunned. The mayor called, and just like a lightning bolt. I just could not believe I was hearing what he was saying.
Danville City Councilman Dr. Gary Miller has been in shock all day after finding out his friend and fellow council member Lee Vogler was attacked.
It just doesn't happen. I mean, to see something this bad happen to a friend, a colleague.
Danville police say the attack happened at Vogler's Office of Employment on Main Street and say the attack was not politically motivated. Police say Shotzi Buck Hayes went into Vogler's workplace and dumped gasoline on him. One witness says Vogler ran out of the building and Buck Hayes followed, then set him on fire. Dr. Miller says this has shaken him to his core.
This is something that happens in faraway cities or New York or London or, people set on fire. It just doesn't happen here.
Barbaric, shocking, horrific, evil.
Lynchburg Councilman Chris Feraldi says Vogler is a friend of his and says the attack was vile. Feraldi was having lunch with his wife when he got the call.
It's really hard to put words around it, to give some sense of what happened today. And man, I'm just praying more than anything else he and his family are okay.
Many in the community are hurting over the situation.
Seems like something that stems from evil.
Joel Denny is a pastor of a church in Danville. Denny says he knows Vogler works hard to represent his city and is heartbroken to see him hurt.
He's done a lot for the city and for the people, and I really believe that he cares about the city and the people too. So it's just heartbreaking to know that this is a place that he pours so much into, and then something like this happens.
And Vogler's community is pouring their support right back at him, saying they are standing behind him.
We just pray that he'll recover swiftly and get back with us.
So I'm really hopeful that he can recover and get right back to work.
We're praying for you. We're praying for your family. We're praying that you heal and that you take the time you need. And just know that Danville loves you. We're praying.
Danville police say they arrested Shotzi Hayes moments after the incident took place. They say that was because of the multiple witnesses that stayed on scene and gave them information. They say he's been charged with attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious litigation. Reporting for ABC 13 News, I'm Hayden Robertson.
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
At a time when the school year is just beginning in Hopewell,
want to hold my hand?
Tyara Katz is choosing to spend more time with her first grade son, Antoine, because Monday she says she wasn't sure if she'd get another moment like it.
It's crazy to me. I'm still kind of in shock, like processing it.
Tyra says she was expecting her 6-year-old son, who attends Patrick Copeland Elementary, to be dropped off at his after-school daycare by his bus driver. But that didn't happen.
I signed a slip saying, this is where it's supposed to be. This is the address. So I don't know what happened.
Tyra says her son wasn't at his daycare when she went to pick him up. It was only after driving back to the school to look for Antoine that she found out the first grader was dropped off at his bus stop, alone.
She just dropped me off by myself and no one was there to pick me up.
I don't know why a bus driver would tell him that he can walk home. He's only 6 years old. Usually cars come flying through around our house. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either.
Antoine's mother says he was unaccounted for over an hour. Neither she nor the school division had any idea where he was until he was dropped off at the school by a total stranger.
I was heated. I couldn't even speak right away when they told me exactly what happened. Like, I couldn't believe it.
The total stranger turned out to be a good Samaritan.
He said he was crying. He was scared. He stopped at the corner and he said a lady saw him in a black truck.
She saw me walking by myself back to the my bus stop, and then she said, come on, get in the car. But good thing she's a nice person.
But the thought of it still doesn't sit well with this Hopewell mother.
Anything could have happened. Anything could have. He could have been abducted. She could have just told him to come on, and I never see my son again.
I reached out to Hopewell schools, who confirmed that Antoine was mistakenly dropped off at the wrong location in violation of the division's policy. That policy requires an adult to be present for preschool, kindergarten, and first grade student drop-offs. They add that the issue is being addressed as a personnel matter.
This is a big mistake. Like, it's a big mistake to make. And, you know, I told them I would like an incident report, and then he can return to school. But I need to be guaranteed something that, like, this is not going to happen again.
Hopewell says they're grateful for the Good Samaritan's actions, reiterating that the student's safety is the highest priority. They've also reissued the policy to all transportation staff. Reporting in Hopewell, AJ Nwoko, CBS 6 News.
The global supply of fresh water.
All right, this is about water drying up. Somebody got the water hole out.
Is drying up. A new study reveals over the last 20 years, 75% of the world's population lives in an area where drinking water is decreasing. You see the impact from Tehran to this country's southwest. ProPublica has written extensively about the alarming new data, and editor-at-large for Climate, Abram Lustgarten, joins me now for tonight's interview. Thank you so much for being with us. Tell me why this is happening.
Well, as the climate warms, the precipitation patterns around the planet are changing dramatically. It's getting wetter in some places, but in more places over a larger area, it's getting drier. Precipitation is falling, temperatures are increasing, droughts are becoming longer and more extreme. And as that's happening, people are drilling into the ground and sucking more from these groundwater reserves called aquifers. And that overuse is steadily depleting the global supply of fresh water.
And is it entirely a question of weather and climate change, or is there also mismanagement or in some places affected by the choices of the people who live there?
Well, the two are tied together inextricably. I mean, water use by civilization is by default a reflection of how that water is managed and the decision that civilization makes. So, you know, when there's a groundwater reserve, which is what this study focused on slightly more than other water supplies, that groundwater has a sustainable level where it can recharge at a certain rate and be withdrawn at a certain rate. And we are overdrafting those aquifers is what the researchers found. So we are making a decision by policy to take more water than can be replenished.
And where in the U.S. is this situation most pronounced?
Yeah, the researchers mapped this drying effect across the continents, and for North America and for the United States, it really, characterizes the southern and western third or half of the country more than anything. So it's no big surprise to know that our Southwest, Arizona, Southern California are stressed for water. But this research found that that drying area is spreading really into the high plains part of the country, across Texas, and then down into Mexico and into Central America.
The authors of the study called this a, quote, critical emerging threat to humanity. Spin out for us, if you will, the impact and effect of these trends as they take place across the globe.
Well, all the researchers that I talked to point to the ways in which water stress can lead to food production stress and food scarcity and other stresses on industry, on economies. And so that quickly translates to stress between borders and between countries. And the fear, and there's already examples of this happening, is that water stress and drought adds to the reasons why countries are finding themselves in conflict and will in the future lead to more conflict, violent conflict, or strategic competition between nations around the world. And there's a lot of examples of that already happening, whether that's in Israel or in Syria or across the Middle East, or what we saw recently between India and Pakistan just a couple of months ago.
Are there places in which policy is being put in place that are smart as opposed to the behavior that's causing this situation to worsen?
In the United States, there are a couple of states that have taken stabs at regulating groundwater. For example, California has enacted laws, Arizona has enacted laws, but in both of those states, which are really some of the best examples that we can point to, those laws are still failing to really control or rein in the rate of groundwater use in particular, and to govern water use in general. And the researchers that I've talked to point to the absolute absence, really, of any national program in the United States or elsewhere to consider a water budget and to govern water as a national.
Popeyes is getting saucy.
We begin this hour with something that we've all had to deal with, the frustrations of transferring our medical records to a new doctor's office. And then sometimes they ask you to fax it. That's a whole other thing. Now the White House is out with a new proposal that will supposedly make this process a lot easier. The program would allow Americans to share their personal data on apps run by private tech companies. More than 60 companies have agreed to participate. But the idea is raising privacy concerns. So to break it all down, Dr. Celine Gounder is here. She is a CBS News medical contributor and editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News. Dr. Gounder, good morning.
Good morning.
So why is the government thinking about launching this system?
Well, the administration is trying to make it safer and easier to be sharing medical information. So they're creating what they're calling a digital health ecosystem. So this involves more than 60 different companies, including companies like Google or Amazon, Noom, the Cleveland Clinic. And it's to allow people to share their medical information with apps, including apps that use AI. So it might be your diet information, your exercise, your weight, et cetera. So you can better manage these kinds of health conditions. And then in addition, they're establishing a way to allow doctors and healthcare systems to exchange information. Right now, we still, in a lot of cases, rely on faxing. There are some local health information exchanges, but this makes it national to make it a lot easier to share that information.
As Adriana mentioned, there are some privacy concerns. So who could be at risk when it comes to your privacy?
Well, and this is a big question. So healthcare systems, doctors, we're regulated very tightly in how we use your health information. But if that information leaves and goes to an app that is not regulated in the same way, a lot of apps make money. Most of them make money by selling data.
Your information.
You're selling your information. So that's number one. Do you have control over that? Do you know how your information is being used? Some apps have also had security leaks. We just heard about the dating app T. That was just one, in the latest of a string of these. Secondly, could your information be misused? So there are over 20 states right now suing the Trump administration for using or trying to use Medicaid data and giving that to ICE for immigration crackdowns. Now, you might say, I'm not an immigrant. My family's been here since the Mayflower. Well, what if they gave your information to the IRS or the DEA or ATF? So there's some real concerns about that. And then finally, how will the data be potentially changed or manipulated? And we've seen just recently a paper published in The Lancet showing that a number of public health databases, they've been manipulating sex and gender. That may not sound like a big deal, but is that just the tip of the iceberg? We've seen a lot of websites taken down, thousands, so there are real concerns about the integrity and transparency of the data.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, it sounds good. It makes it easier for people to have access to their data. But the concerns that you raise, whenever private companies get involved with, let's face it, their bottom line is making money.
No doubt about it.
Raises
Well
concerns.
said, Vlad.
Dr.
Trust.
Celine,
It's all about trust.
All about trust. Thank you very much, Dr. Calendar. As always, appreciate it.
The global supply of
So that's very concerning when you think about that.
We have a warning from the parents of a 12-year-old boy who, listen to this, he died after swimming in a popular South Carolina lake. Doctors say a parasite in the water led to an infection that is rare but extremely deadly. Skylar Henry spoke to Jason Carr's family as they call for change. Skylar, good morning.
Hey, Adriana, good morning to you. Jason's parents, Ebony and Clarence Carr, are calling on state lawmakers to revise policies and do more testing on the waterways here in the state of North or South Carolina. And they're also calling for more public reporting of the infection of the organism that killed their son. They're also looking to raise awareness so that no family has to go through what they are.
No one should have to assume their child might not come back from just swimming and having fun with friends.
12-year-old Jason Carr was enjoying summer before the July 4th holiday, swimming in South Carolina's Lake Murray, about 15 miles outside Columbia. Days later, he told his parents he had a headache.
He's never complains about anything, so we knew when he started complaining that something was wrong.
Clarence and Ebony Carr gave him some medication. The next day, they took Jason to the hospital where he was able to walk in on his own. He died 2 weeks later.
Hindsight 2020, this was no headache. He was being attacked.
Carr was infected with Naegleria fowleri, a brain-eating amoeba found in warm, fresh water like lakes or rivers. It enters through the nose, usually when someone jumps or dives in the water. The Centers for Disease Control reports fewer than 10 cases each year in the U.S., but nearly all are fatal.
And it is the job of state and local health departments to test fresh water, but they don't have unlimited resources. You can't test for everything. You have to focus on the most common things and the most dangerous things. And unfortunately, this infection is not common enough to be doing routine testing.
The Carr family is now pushing for more water testing and spreading the word about the dangerous infection.
What has this last several weeks been like?
The worst moments of our lives.
A nightmare that I'm still waiting to wake up from. So we just went back home a couple of days ago just from knowing the memories that we have there with him and knowing that I'm waiting on him to come through the door.
And they say that what they will miss the most is Jason's smile. Now, state officials did say that the exposure likely did happen at Lake Murray, but there are no federal recommendations to test for that ambient sample water for Naegleria fowleri, and there are no scientific thresholds for determining any sort of unsafe levels of the amoeba in those waters. Vlad?
Absolutely heartbreaking, Skylar. All of our hearts go out to that family. What a beautiful little boy. Thank you very much for your report.
Have you heard of carparts.com? Check this out.
They have over 1 million quality parts?
That are guaranteed to fit and hassle-free returns.
Well, I guess you didn't need my help after all.
Nope, I just needed carparts.com. Now that's my speed.
A Fallbrook resident is facing a nearly 400% increase.
So it's about insurance. Now, they had a thing going on my escrow, but, I figured it out, and it wasn't that bad, right? But at the same time, you have to be careful with these things because insurance prices are going up, as they told me, but it didn't really affect me that much. But at the same time, you still have to be careful with things like this. So I'm looking at the insurance premium right now and stuff like that. So here's what it is. But be careful because you never know what can happen.
Increase in the cost of her homeowner's insurance premium. The resident says the bill came suddenly and without explanation. Team 10 investigative reporter Austin Gravish has been covering the state's insurance crisis. He's reported on companies pulling out of the state and talked to homeowners facing nightmares trying to get insurance. Now he follows through and shows us how the state insurance commissioner is responding to this latest story.
Debbie Kirkwood doesn't love gardening, but it's what you'll find her doing every morning.
We're cutting down a lot. We're not going to go out to dinner anymore.
The retired public defender can no longer afford to pay a gardener. In June, she got this $13,000 bill from Farmers Insurance. Her premium was just $2,700 last year.
They said this is accurate, $13,163 a year.
Debbie moved into this gated community with a fire hall a quick drive away back in 2019. She says costs have been reasonable, except for her insurance, which has gone up 900%.
What's your message to farmers? Why did you do this to me? I'm upset. I've been a good customer for 17 years, never made a claim.
I wanted to know why Farmers Insurance spiked Debbie's insurance premium by so much. The company told me it can't comment on individual cases, but said wildfire risk is one of several factors it considers when setting rates.
What do you think the insurance commissioner needs to do? He needs to regulate all insurance companies so that no one gets a shocking letter like this.
A spokesperson for Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara says Debbie's story is similar to many other Californians. Quote, we have to first address availability and then address affordability. It's unrealistic to promise that prices will go down overnight. But with Commissioner Lara's sustainable insurance strategy, we are building a system where people pay for coverage they can actually get, not just be pushed onto the FAIR plan with higher premiums and limited protections. Debbie is the latest victim of California's insurance crisis who has contacted Team 10. In 2023, I showed you one landlord's nightmare trying to get coverage after he was suddenly dropped.
The minute I shared a Ramona zip code, they didn't even want to discuss it with me.
And in May, I talked to an Escondido senior who went to the California FAIR plan after being dropped by his carrier. The plan is considered the costly insurance of last resort due to its limited coverage.
I went from $900 to $3,600.
Back in Fallbrook, Debbie is trying to find another company to write her a policy.
Now you have this. Is your husband going to be able to retire? No. No way.
She says if she doesn't find a carrier by the end of August, she may have to move out of her dream home. Austin Gravish, Team 10.
There's DIY, and there's doing it yourself. It's the difference between being creative and being a creator, between a homemade recipe and a household name, between a daydream and a dream job. It's your business, your hard work. You do it yourself. Create your
Tonight, a warning about a scam involving the most widely used email service. We're talking Gmail. Scammers are impersonating Google, sending out phishing messages that look real, and they're using Google's own tools to do it. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez joins us live in studio tonight with what this scam involves and why it's so different from the rest. Esmeralda?
Well, figuring out what's real and what's fake online is increasingly challenging. Cyber criminals are constantly refining their methods, making their scams hard to spot. Tonight, we're focusing on a phishing scam, specifically targeting Gmail and Google account users.
The Identity Theft Resource Center, a national nonprofit based in San Diego, is warning the community about this Gmail scam. phishing messages designed to look like they're coming from Google. I spoke with the ITRC CEO, Eva Velasquez, who called this a sophisticated phishing attack.
They've sort of upped the ante and upped the game in phishing,
specifically targeting Gmail and Google users.
It looks kind of like this is legitimate and really from Google. But they have changed some of the text and some of the links in the message so that it's now a malicious message.
Velasquez says the messages not only look real, scammers are repurposing legitimate content directly from real Google communications to make these emails virtually indistinguishable.
It's come across my desk a few times.
University of San Diego adjunct professor of cybersecurity Nicholas Behar is well aware of the scam, noting it's been active for some time.
The attackers are leveraging something called Google Sites, which is a feature of Google that allows people to create their own type of website. And they're sending malicious links that are posted on Google Sites. So when somebody accesses that link, they think that it's legitimate.
A single click on one of these deceptive links can expose your personal data or compromise your device.
It's usually about, I want to infect your device. So I want you to click on something that's going to download some kind of malicious software onto your device, or I want you to provide personally identifiable information about yourself, your data, to me so that I can then go exploit it later.
The ITRC shares some ways to avoid Gmail scams, including don't click on any links or unsolicited or unexpected emails, inspect the full address carefully, review email headers, and avoid using your Google account when signing in into other services.
Really important whenever you're entering the credentials or whenever you're entering any kind of username and password that you verify the website that appears at the top of the screen in the URL bar. Because in this case, after they go to sites.google.com and then they click on another link, they'll be redirected somewhere else.
And one more.
Are you tired of sky-high electricity bills? With Convert Solar's new lease, you can ditch the big upfront costs and start saving from day one. Here's how.
Forget the Slim Jim or Smack.
So that goes to show you a lot of scams going on right here and things of that nature. Yeah. Yeah, what it is. What? That's how it be, man. But you gotta be careful with them type of things.
Smash and grab. There's a new way for criminals to break into your car, and all it takes is the push of a button. It turns out your key fob is putting your car at risk. Take a look at this. Hackers can intercept and clone a key fob's radio signal using custom firmware built for the Flipper Zero. Now, the Flipper Zero is a legal handheld device that can scan wireless signals. The company is not behind the firmware being used to break into cars. That's apparently the work of a Russian hacker. Online ads for the firmware list it for sale for as high as $1,000. One hacker told Straight Air News, I can sit in a parking lot and wait for someone to lock their car, and immediately I get all their fob buttons. The hacker tool bypasses a security measure for key fobs known as rolling codes. So a single click of the button from a rightful car owner, even to pop the trunk, grants the hacker full access to enter the car at any time. That's what makes this tool stand out from other efforts to clone key fobs. Starting the engine is another story. Now, SANS tech reporter Mikhail Thalen got his hands on this firmware and used it to break into cars, with permission, of course. Mikhail, we're going to talk about which car brands are the most vulnerable, but first, what's new about this hacking technology that makes it harder for those car companies to defend against?
Yeah, so as you noted, rolling codes are supposed to protect against this kind of attack. And so traditionally, if someone wanted to clone your key fob, not only would they need to intercept that unlock signal, but they'd actually have to use a signal jammer to stop that signal that you sent from reaching your car, because once it reaches your car, it's no longer valid, as every time you unlock the car, a new rolling code comes into play. So this new attack, all it needs to do is intercept a single code, even if it's to pop your trunk, and even if it reaches the car, it can then gain access to your entire fob. So just with that one captured signal, it can decode your unlock, your lock, and your trunk popping open. And so this can be used at a later time.
And we have that video that shows you doing just that, using this technology. With the technology, the firmware designer even tells the buyers what brands and models they can hack. Which cars are the most vulnerable?
Yeah, so when you obtain the firmware, it comes with actually a list of the vehicles that are affected. And so that includes Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, Hyundai, vehicles like Ferrari listed on there. And it's also entirely possible that there are models out there that are vulnerable that just haven't been tested yet. And I actually reached out to several of these car manufacturers to ask if they were aware of it. And the only one to get back to me was Kia of America, who said that they are not aware of the situation, therefore have no comment to offer.
Okay, given that, do you think that this is so new and it's going to become more prevalent?
Yeah, well, I did speak with a prominent hacker who has concerns that this tool will eventually make its way to the masses. At the moment, the hacker is selling it for $1,000 online, and he actually has a serial lock on it that's intended to keep it from getting into the hands of people who didn't purchase it. But other hackers that I spoke with obtained the tool and actually removed that serial lock. So now they have a copy that is being spread around among security researchers. So it's very likely that eventually it will reach everyday people.
One of the things that stood out to me in your story, and our viewers can read the entire story at san.com or our app, but one of those things was that a security researcher said there's really not much that we can do to protect ourselves beyond not using the fob.
Yeah, I mean, really the only thing you can do to protect against this attack is use a physical key. Or let's say if you're getting out of your vehicle, maybe locking the vehicle from inside with a physical button. But of course, the problem is that many modern vehicles don't even use physical keys anymore. They rely entirely on fobs. So there's not much that can be done. And, you know, in order for a car company.
Wow. This is about the ADL stop hating it. Jonathan Green, that of course.
It's like put low because you think I'm that low. That was very offensive. Thank you very much for being here today. It's an honor to be here with not only my good friend Don Bacon, who is very tan, if you've noticed.
I have grandkids.
And Jonathan Greenblatt, who is really just one of the greatest leaders we have right now, standing up to hate not just in the United States, but around the world. And I'm very grateful for him, for his friendship and incredible leadership. You know, we all know there's been an explosion of disinformation and anti-Semitic hate online and on social media platforms, not just here in our country, but around the world. And that's especially since October 7th, when Hamas terrorists kidnapped, raped, decapitated, burned alive, and brutally murdered 1,200 innocent babies, children, women, men, elderly, including many Americans. That's why we're announcing a new tool in our online arsenal to protect our nation against terrorist organizations and adversaries that continue to innovate and threaten us in new ways. Using social media platforms, state sponsors of terror and their proxies, especially in Iran, Hamas, and its affiliates, are turning online content into a tool of propaganda and disinformation. There's no reason why anyone, especially terrorists or anyone online, should have access to social media platforms to promote radical, hate-filled violence. Far-known platforms including CCP-connected TikTok have little to no content moderation policies that expose young Americans to propaganda from our adversaries. After the shooting outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, anti-Zionist extremist groups flocked to social media to call for further violence. On Instagram, extremist groups posted news of the attack with the caption, "May all Zionists burn." One group leader even posted the text, death to Nazis, on top of photos of the victims. And even AI is fanning the flames of hate. As we know, you probably saw with Grok, but the X's AI chat box posting a barrage of violent anti-Semitic content. The bottom line is there's a massive disinformation campaign influencing us each day. That's why we're announcing bipartisan legislation, the Stopping Terrorist Online Presence and Holding Accountable Tech Entities Act. Shorter, the Stop Hate Act. to bring common sense to this situation. And I'm very grateful for my good friend Don Bacon for leading this, as he has always stood up to hate and extremism. This bipartisan legislation will require social media companies to release detailed public reports of violations of their terms of service and to outline how they're addressing these violations, which includes the use of their platforms by terrorist groups. Every day companies fail to report this information, it will result in a $5 million fine. Social media companies can no longer hide the crimes that take place on their platforms, especially when they pose a threat to America's national security. And we're very proud this bill has the backing of the Anti-Defamation League. For years, like Don, I've been a cop on a beat with the help of those here today from the ADL to protect Americans from the influence of terrorists. In 2019, I led a bipartisan effort calling on Twitter to stop bucking U.S. law and defending terrorist organizations, including Hamas and Hezbollah, and to take down terrorist content on the platform. I worked on the Online Terrorism Prevention Act to punish companies who refuse to take down terrorist content, and the Chats Act to tackle social media being used as a tool for crime. We have to take this on. We can't sit idly by. Together, working together, I know we'll get this done. We'll ensure that all social media companies who I know in the United States want to do the right thing to make sure they stand up to these threats.
So that's about the Stop Hate Act, anti-Semitism and stuff like that. Or talking about Israel, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just very interesting. But a lot of people don't even know that's going on. So it is what it is. But I mean, to me, just what it is. You don't know. But ask somebody about it. Put it like that. CDC got a new director.
The CDC officially has a new director. Dr. Susan Monarez will lead the agency. She has served across several federal health agencies over the years. She was the CDC's deputy director from January through March. This is the first time the CDC director post has required Senate confirmation. Previous directors were appointed to lead the agency. Both Georgia Senators Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock voted no on her confirmation.
Lemon pepper sandwiches, or
the CDC is out with a new warning about COVID. Yes, COVID. It says the number of cases is now growing or likely growing in at least 27 states. Yike. And COVID-related emergency room visits for young kids, they're the highest they've been since March. We're joined now by CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook. I heard you coughing over there. You okay?
You noticed though I went like this.
I did notice you this. But we are so sick of hearing about COVID. How concerned should we be? I think it triggers PTSD for a lot of people.
I think you're exactly right. My patients certainly come in like this. You know, every season we now know that there's a winter spike and then there's a summer spike, right? And every year, I just looked last night, the number of deaths, the number of hospitalizations is gradually going down each season. So that's the good news. But people should not be blasé about it, okay? COVID, you know, if it strikes you, especially for the vulnerable, and we're talking about very young, you know, children under the age of 4, the elderly, people who are immunocompromised. You know, there are millions of people who are immunocompromised out there. They can really get sick. I've had patients who are immunocompromised who get really sick.
So what do you attribute this spike to?
I think it's just, you know, there's a winter, it's complicated about why that is, but we see this with a lot of illnesses. There's a winter spike, there's a summer spike, and it's complicated about why it goes up and why it goes down. But, you know, one of the things that people are having to grapple with right now is, should they be getting vaccinated?
Yeah.
And we're in a kind of an odd period right now because the CDC has a little bit of a different recommendation for vaccination than the major societies, like the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, who say that pregnant women should get vaccinated because when the baby is born from like 0 to 6, before they can get a shot, they're really relying on the mother's immunity, right? The mother has the antibodies, it goes through the placenta, and then the baby has some protection. And so they're saying, look, you should get vaccinated. The CDC.
But they took the vaccination schedule off for kids.
What they said,
what
they said was Secretary Kennedy said it's now shared decision making. So that means that go talk to your clinician about it, which is always a good idea. But it's a little bit of a different recommendation than just saying go get it. And they're saying also the same thing for healthy kids.
What are you hearing about these variants, Nimbus and Stratus?
I heard those are two names of different types of clouds, right? It's like the Nimbus 2000. I was like, is this like a Harry Potter thing? That was his first broomstick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But these are different variants. The good news about the variant, they're no more deadly than, say, the last variant. We're seeing these variants all the time.
Okay.
The vaccines that were made for the last season, for this season, do cover the current variants. So that's good news. But just, I think the bottom line here is, don't be blasé. It's the summer. People have all sorts of things. Be careful.
Yeah. Dr. Lupuk, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. All right, in today's Money Watch, we are talking about saving for the future and retirement. A new survey from Charles Schwab reveals that Americans believe it takes more than $800,000 to be financially comfortable. It also shows about 1/3 of Americans do not have any type of financial plan. But don't worry, we've got you covered. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here. Nate? Jill is here. Dollar Jill here is to break it all down. All right, so let's jump right into it. Why do you want to reframe the conversation about retirement? And what does that mean exactly?
Well, because when I went through 20 to 30 years giving people financial advice, first as a business owner and then as a podcast host and here on TV, what I hear from people is, I'm not that interested in retiring, but I am interested in understanding when I can have more control over my life. I think it's a little bit of an outdated notion that everybody works till a certain date and we're done.
Yes.
It's that people want control over their lives. So it is a bit more like financial independence and how we can help people find a better way to keep working longer and be happier in their positions. And it doesn't work for everyone. I get it. But if we can give people just a modicum of control, they will approach their financial lives in a much better way.
Okay, let's do the modicum of control. If you haven't even started to plan, when should you start? Is there an age you should start? Is there a peace of mind you should start?
Right now,
Right now?
whoever you are, you're 20, you're 50, you're 60, and you're still working and you never run the numbers, here's where we start.
20s?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think younger people understand. They've seen their parents and grandparents go through hard times. They know. So you start not with a rule of thumb, because that's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
You go to a retirement calculator online. When you do that, there's going to be some information you need. The biggest piece of information, how much money do you spend right now? If you don't know that piece of information, you cannot possibly do this. So it's your basics, it's your fun stuff. If you're a little bit older, maybe it's ongoing obligations. You've got aging parents you've got to take care of. You've got adult children. Now you know this is the expense number that I am trying to find. Once you have that, you are ready to start looking at the future. And the calculations will take into account how much you make now, how much money you're saving, how much money your company is matching, all those pieces. And it will give you a number that you can replicate where you say, when I get to a certain age, I will be able to create that much income in the future for myself. And don't forget, we're living longer. So if you are over the age of 40, you're going to still live till 90, 95.
Yeah.
And if you're under the age of 40, you might live till 100. We have to make sure people understand that the longer that life lasts, the more money we need to save right now.
So you're right. People should think about it in their 20s. When I met Katie in my early 30s and she'd been saving since her early 20s and her 401k, I thought it was the sexiest thing ever. I was like, wow, the responsible person. We were going places together. But tell us about those retirement accounts like 401ks, other options. What should people know about them?
Well, I think the first thing that you need to know is use them. What we understand from a lot of the data is that people say, oh, I can't save. But when they're automatically enrolled in a 401k or a 403b, they do save money, even when you don't make that much. So you want to automate it. So 401ks, if you start with a little bit, maybe just up to your company match or a couple of percentage points that you can put away, you can put up to $23,500. Most
About Shannon Sharp.
I'm an
I just thought
overpowered
this was
leaf
really
blower.
funny. How this in the bag.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget.
Sharp has been fired from ESPN, and I spoke about it in a video earlier today, but he hasn't actually been at ESPN since April, where he was hit with a lawsuit, and about 2 weeks ago he settled that lawsuit and has since been fired. But here's what he had to say about it.
I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week, and really the only thing that I really ask is, like, guys, could we wait until Monday? My brother's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I really wanted it to be about him, and I wanted it to be about my family. I know this coming out will overshadow everything that he's worked his entire life for. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him earlier today, he said, bro, stop apologizing. You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm going to love you regardless. We all make mistakes. And he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You're done with it too. Move on. And I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow. They saw me, Lakers in 5, and they saw me say all these analogies that my grandparents gave me, and I was able to bring that to ESPN. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But I just wished, of all things, like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that. But I just wish, guys, this thing could have waited until Monday, because I hate the fact that I'm overshadowing my brother, the first two brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is what the headline's going to be for the next couple of days. So, bro, again, I know you told me this, I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this manner. That was never my intent. You've been my hero. You've been my role model from as long as I can remember. And I apologize, and I thank all my fans for supporting me when I was at ESPN and every place that I've been, be it Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Undisputed.
Tell me about Shannon Sharp. So that just goes to show you, hey, man, dang, brother getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, I do call it perfect timing.
Then former NBA star Gilbert Arenas has been arrested and is now facing federal charges for allegedly running an illegal gambling ring out of his San Fernando Valley home.
Arenas, along with several others, were arrested today. One of them, a suspected high-level member of an Israeli organized crime group. Arenas has already made his first court appearance, facing a judge this afternoon in downtown L.A. KTLA's Mary Beth McDade live in Encino with more. Mary Beth.
Yeah, and Mike and Sherry, as the hours wear on, I'm getting to read these court documents a little bit further. And so it appears that the illegal gaming up here at this Encino mansion began back in September 2021 and then came to a screeching halt the night of July 19th, 2022. That's when the feds raided this Encino mansion. And at the time, there were 26 high-stakes poker players inside, as well as a lot of staff that were made up of young women, chefs, valets, and security guards.
You're asking me. I'm telling you.
Former NBA All-Star turned podcaster Gilbert Arenas was allegedly running illegal high-stakes poker games out of his Encino mansion. Arenas, who the feds dubbed Agent Zero, and 7 others, including a suspected Israeli international crime boss and a West Hollywood lawyer, have been charged in a federal indictment. The former Washington Wizards player is accused of renting out his Encino mansion on Gable Drive for the illegal games, which were allegedly hosted by his co-conspirators. According to court documents, Arenas texted one of his co-conspirators this picture of a poker table in connection to the games, which allegedly took place from September 2021 to July 2022. A neighbor recalls seeing unusual activity and scantily clad women during that time frame.
Well, just mostly people coming out at all hours of the night. Usually I'd see women, though, coming out. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning and taking off with whomever in a car down the street.
The alleged Israeli crime boss, Yevgeny Gershman, is accused of hiring young women who, in exchange for tips, served drinks, provided massages, and offered companionship to the poker players. The women were charged a tax, a percentage of their earnings from working the games.
The more people you have who are willing to engage in stuff that's illegal or high risk puts us all in certain situations that we don't want to be in.
Arenas and several of his co-defendants have been charged with 1 count of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business and 1 count of operating an illegal gambling business. Arenas was also charged with 1 count of making false statements to federal investigators. Yeah, he apparently told investigators that he didn't know what was going on up here at his Encino mansion. And we have learned that the mansion was sold a few years ago and now operates as a drug and alcohol rehab facility. For now, reporting live here in Encino, Mary Beth McDade, send it back to you guys in the studio.
Auto insurance rates went up again in 2024, but that means it might be a smart time to shop around for a new policy. With Credit Karma, you can.
Former NBA star Gilbert Arenas was known as Agent Zero during his pro basketball career, but if tonight, 3-time All-Star, he's being called a federal defendant, charged with running an illegal gambling ring and high-stakes poker games out of his mansion home in Encino, California. Federal investigators say Arenas was one of a group of defendants involved in the operation. They include 49-year-old Yevgeny Gershman, a suspected high-level member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group. The indictment says Gershman hired young women who served drinks and offered companionship to the players during the games. They allegedly worked for tips, but had to pay the ring operators a portion of what they made. Now, as for Arenas, this isn't the first time he's been in trouble linked to card games. You might remember that the 11-year NBA veteran was suspended from the Washington Wizards in December 2009 after he brought guns into the Wizards' locker room. League official says it was over an argument about gambling debts. So for more, you know who we're going to be bringing in. Jennifer Coffindaffer, News Nation law and justice contributor and former FBI agent. Thank you so much for coming on. Got to start with the Arenas here. So serious charges, allegedly hosting some illegal poker games at his home. Complex investigation. What stands out to you?
Complex, and I think the whole reason they are going after this operation is that connectivity you just talked about. You know, typically the FBI is not going to get involved in gambling unless it involves this type of an organization. Remember, Jesse, it seems like it's just gambling until you can't pay your debt. And then people get strong-armed, and this connection to this organization is problematic.
You're talking about the text messages, right? The alleged text messages about the schedules, the financial matters, recruiting dealers and women. Does it ever surprise you? I mean, if those allegations are true, the digital trail, just nobody realizes that?
I don't know if it's they don't realize it. I just think they truly think of themselves as above the law. They're not going to get caught. They're going to get out of it. And so they continue operations as usual, not worried.
Look, it's serious because if convicted, he and the other defendants face 5 years in federal prison for each count. But the federal officials, they allegedly raided his home in July of last year during a game. Would that have been tipped off? Were they tipped off by maybe somebody who was upset about a game?
Well, my guess is they probably had an informant. Typically in these operations, you have informants that initially come to you for whatever reason. They have not been happy with that group. And that's typically how a lot of these cases start.
It sounds like there was some serious big money with this alleged operation because Arenas allegedly rented out his home to be used for the games. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Oh, I bet you they handled probably up to millions of dollars. Look, Jesse, the Bureau isn't going to get involved. We have certain threshold minimums, and you're not going to get involved unless it's a big, big game over a lot of time.
Do you think the celebrity aspect affects an investigation or how they move forward with an investigation?
It's certainly going to, because they know all eyes are going to be on this. So they're going to be extra careful in how they conduct that investigation.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
That is kind of interesting when you really think about it. It is very interesting. Now we'll see that. But it goes to show you that how things are working. To lower years for 12. So this will be around cardiovascular. So you gotta be very careful about your heart problems. Trying to find it.
Can exercise significantly lower cardiovascular risk? In recent news, a growing number of studies highlight the importance of exercise in reducing cardiovascular risk. This topic has captured the attention of health enthusiasts and experts alike. Many people are searching for effective ways to improve heart health, especially as awareness of cardiovascular disease rises. So, can exercise really make a difference? Yes, exercise can significantly reduce cardiovascular risk through various mechanisms and benefits. Engaging in moderate to vigorous physical activity improves heart health by enhancing endothelial function. This improvement helps blood vessels work better, leading to a reduction in overall cardiovascular risk. Research indicates that even small changes can have a big impact. For instance, replacing just 30 minutes of sedentary time with moderate to vigorous exercise daily can lower the risk of death and cardiac events by 61%. This finding is particularly relevant for individuals who have already experienced a cardiac event, such as a heart attack. Even light-intensity activities can make a difference. Replacing sedentary time with light exercise can lower cardiovascular risk by 50%. Additionally, increasing sleep duration by 30 minutes may reduce risk by 14%, likely due to sleep's restorative effects after cardiac incidents. Cycling, as a popular form of aerobic exercise, is associated with a 46% lower risk of developing cardiovascular disease. It also shows a 52% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular issues. Cycling helps control blood pressure, a major risk factor for heart disease, and assists in weight management, further contributing to reduced heart disease risk. Regular physical activity, including moderate exercise like cycling or brisk walking, plays a key role in lowering cardiovascular risk. These activities improve heart and vascular function, reduce blood pressure, manage weight, and decrease sedentary behavior. These benefits apply to both healthy individuals and those recovering from cardiac events. As more people recognize the importance of heart health, incorporating exercise into daily routines can be a simple yet effective strategy to enhance overall well-being.
So, man.
Shit, what's going on? Yeah, I thought you were gonna do the show later, man. Shit, I'm like, my bad, man. I was like,
yeah, I know. I mean, you good. I'm be about 15, 20 more minutes. Then I gotta make a run. I gotta go to this car place, check something out. But you good. I mean, hey, look. Yeah, look, let me tell you what I'm talking about, man. You know, we had this thing go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show it to you, man. Let me just go ahead and get to that stuff now. I was thinking really give arenas and that gambling thing that happened. Continue on. Let's see. Gotta show you this one. This happening right here in Virginia, maybe about an hour from me.
Tonight, police in a small Southern Virginia town have charged a 29-year-old man with attempted murder, accusing him of dousing Danville City Councilman Lee Vogler with a flammable liquid and setting him on fire. Witnesses at the local magazine where Vogler worked told police Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes somehow forced his way into the office and threw the liquid on Vogler, who exited the building, where Hayes then set him alight. The magazine's publisher shaken by the assault.
This type of senseless act of violence has to stop. You do not have the right as a human being to get upset with someone enough to lash out and attempt to harm them in any way, much less.
Witnesses provided a description of the suspect and his car.
Say something real quick. Brother, for a second. Why is JD Vance not talking about this, bro? Why you know what I'm saying? Why is this not on, like, why is this not like that Cincinnati brawl is way more you know, covering the airwaves than this. You know what I'm saying? This is getting some traction, but not like the Cincinnati brawl. Why am I not seeing Congress and why am I not seeing the vice president talk about this?
Well, let me bring that up. Danville ain't nothing but a city of 40,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Small city. You will get more coverage in Cincinnati. Also, the thing in Cincinnati is I would say more
political. It's political. JD Vance's brother's gonna run for office in Cincinnati. That's political.
Exactly. So you gotta set the groundwork up. This guy is a councilman in Danville, Virginia. I mean, it really tell you the truth. If you ain't, you know, from Virginia or like lived in Virginia, if you don't know about no damn Danville. I mean, I know about Danville because they never about 2 hours away. Got a town called South Boston and stuff. Matter of fact, they got a casino there, which is crazy because Danville don't even have no. I mean, like, it's weird. I mean, they got a casino out there they made a couple years ago, but it's not even a bustling place like that. I mean, it's weird. I mean, like outside of Farmville, I can tell you people. We had the Edmonds brothers, which I could have DJ'd for. They played at Virginia Tech, but Danville's on the border of North Carolina. They had Johnny Newman, who played in there maybe 16 years. They've had people come out of there, but it's a town of 40,000 people. So, I mean, you're not going to get that much coverage on this. I'm just letting you know.
Right. And I see what you're saying. But that that Cincinnati stuff is hella political, dude. That shit is hella. And it's right, and it's a race thing too, because You know what I'm saying? Like if I could, you know what I mean? When the whites are the victims, we always, and then the blacks are the ones supposedly doing the assaulting. We always have to hype that up. You know what I'm saying? To try to like push some kind of crime bill, or just to push the narrative that black people are violent, and this the usual suspects, like them dumbass motherfuckers be saying. You know what I mean? When they're the usual suspects. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I mean, it just, when it. Let me play this thing, because they said that guy up there in New York, they said that he was white at first. Then they said, wait a minute. Then they came back and said, Blackstone.
Didn't they say that he was? I thought they said he was like.
Meet Craig AI, powered by AT&T Business.
Morning, people. Feels good to finally connect with you guys.
I can't hear.
We begin this hour, though, with our top story. A city in shock. A gunman taking...
No, you good. I'm going to play it. I got to show you this. Because wait a minute. They said that officer got killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had the funeral for the officer today. I said, damn, that was quick.
That shit's fake, man. I think this is honestly, bro. I think
4 lives in a shooting at an office tower in Midtown Manhattan.
You know what I'm saying? This might just be a straight up vote. I mean, like, and then it has to do with the NFL building and all this. I'm like, yeah, right.
You know what's so crazy? The NFL, the first preseason game is tonight. That means that they had this. It's to have 3 days for the NFL get kicked off. Crazy shit.
You caught it.
Joining us now is Bloomberg's Miles Miller, who has more. Miles, breaking news just moments ago.
That's right. We just have confirmed the death of a Blackstone executive. Her name is Wesley LaPotner, and well known in corporate circles and also philanthropy. Here at Blackstone, she ran their real estate investment trust and was a part of the executive committee as it relates to investments. Outside of here, had done so much work in the community, on the board of the Met, on the board of the Heschel School, a Jewish day school here in the city, on the board of the UJA Federation, doing so much that she could in the community to make New York a better place. And it is here where she was leaving work when she was shot and killed yesterday. Let's set the scene again. 6:30 about yesterday, guy pulls up in a BMW, pulls out an M4 rifle and starts firing into the headquarters of Blackstone, the headquarters of the NFL and KPMG. He thinks he's making his way upstairs to the NFL offices because he had an axe to grind with the NFL because he said he had CTE. Meanwhile, he'd never played for the NFL. He made his way up to the Rooted Management Group, which is a REIT here in Manhattan, and that is where he opened fire, shooting another person and then ultimately killing himself. He killed an NYPD officer and shot an NFL employee. We know that Blackstone and the NFL have their employees working from home today, and they are really...
real quick, man. So, would the cop just happen to be there, dude? Why was the cop? Where was the? Huh? So how come the cop didn't stop him though? Why? He just killed the cop, right? How does that work? You see what I'm saying? It's like they don't tell you no details though. It's no, you know what I mean? It's like they don't tell you the stuff that to lead up to the story that actually would put the puzzles to the pieces to the puzzle. They don't tell you. You see what I'm saying? They just tell you a couple of details here and there, and it's just like you got to solve the shit. Like you got to put the picture in your mind like that. But see, how do you? And that's how you know something's not right with this. How do you get? It was like some Muslim Indian looking motherfucker that they said was the first suspect, bro. How do you get that from a mixed looking black dude or Spanish, whatever the fuck he is? I don't see. That's how you know this is probably not true. Probably never really even happened. How do you get suspects mixed? How do you get the wrong suspect? How does that work? See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That lets you know this was a staged event, bro. That lets you know that they planned this, bro. You know what I'm saying? How do you not vent out the suspect? So let me get this straight. How did they catch this guy? Did the police have him at gunpoint? Did they chase him? How did they catch him? See this? I don't know. It's just this shit don't be making no sense to me, man. When shit doesn't make no sense in real life, it's probably not true. Keep it real, man.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah. Now here we go right here.
We are inching closer to the viewing services for Officer Islam. That's perhaps
have been underway for hours, and the
Wait, they
NYPD,
said
his
Officer
brothers
Islam?
and
Is
sisters
that what
in
the
blue
name
and
is?
force just right behind me lined up this morning.
They said the officer's name was Officer Islam?
Yeah, Officer Islam. Yeah.
Man, you know what, BJ, bro? You know what? Yeah, bro. I just said, you know what I'm saying? I just said this shit was a hoax, bro. Yeah, man. But then they got a Muslim. Okay, so let me get this fucking straight. So the officer's name was Officer Islam, but the first suspect that y'all had was a Muslim-looking dude that probably practiced Islam. So we be damn. I told you, bro.
That's crazy.
These motherfuckers fuck with our mind, dude. Like, god damn, man. So, but they're probably gonna try to make some kind of law or bill or some shit out of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or some kind of, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Morning as they're continuing to reel from what happened in Midtown on Monday. Islam would be one of the 4 victims unfortunately shot and killed as Shane Tamora would open fire, blasting bullets at that Midtown building, and he, along with 3 others, would never return home to their families. Now, I want to get straight to some video right now. Islam was working off-duty on paid detail and became on duty at the time he engaged that suspect. Officer Islam was the first fatality in Monday's shooting rampage, shot while in uniform in the Midtown office building. He joined the department 3.5 years ago, was assigned to the 47th precinct where Governor Hochul, Mayor Adams, and Police Commissioner Tisch had addressed officers during a roll call. Now, since the tragedy, there's been a steady stream of supporters rallying around all who knew him and all those who are getting to know his family. Mayor Adams met with who Islam leaves behind, including his parents, saying in a tweet, quote, he heard stories about the values they instilled in their son that made him a hero. And for some I spoke with this morning, they're trying to make sense of this gripping reality. Take a listen.
What I knew, what interactions I had, he was a very dedicated officer. I did not know him extraordinarily well, but he always comported himself very well. And he gave very unselfishly to the community and definitely to his family.
It is a very difficult thing. I am the wife of an officer, and we have 3 children, and that is a phone call and a knock on the door that you never want to receive. So my heart goes out to his wife and also to the other victims in this tragedy.
And so many out here are sending their condolences to this family. Meantime, police work around the clock for answers. Detectives are now in Las Vegas at both the home of the suspect and his parents. A second note we do know was found in Las Vegas, but this time they're now turning their attention to the suspect's supervisor, who they say purchased the lower portion of the M4 rifle used in the mass shooting. Now, we're told he's being cooperative, but there are still so many questions. Why was the gun purchased? And do we know if Tamora had planned this to travel across country?
Because it's a psyop, bro.
And cause absolute pandemonium. Back here live in Parkchester,
Yeah.
Just damn, man. But see, what they say, 80%.
Let me play this. This happened right here in Richmond.
Well, okay, but wait, let me say something real quick. They say 80% of people are deaf, dumb, and blind. What they say, the 80% is deaf, dumb, and blind. The 15%. Wait, the 80% is deaf, dumb, and blind.
85%.
Yeah, 85% with the 10% no.
85.
And then the 10% no.
And the 5% are the pro-righteous teachers, yes.
Right. And then the 10 no, but won't reveal. And the 5% are the 5% is right.
Yes.
Right, with the righteous teachers.
5% of the poor righteous teachers who try to warn people, but they shun upon. Yes.
Thanks for looking out.
Yes, that's where you get the 5% nation from and all that. I will say this. It's actually, even if 5%, I mean, I hate to say this, they pick up the information, they try to give it out, so even they don't know, but they're willing to look more for that.
Facts.
All right, here we go.
In this morning to the 1500 block of Clarkson Road for reports of a missing man. But police say when they arrived, they saw ICE agents operating around the Southwood neighborhood. RPD says ICE then confirmed to them that the person in question was under their custody. RPD did not share what that person was in custody for. Now, you may recall that last month there were multiple people detained by immigration officials by the Chesterfield courthouse. At the time, Governor Youngkin said that the departments were necessary, or the detainments were necessary, and part of the state's overall plan.
And we have a statewide collaboration and partnership between state police and ICE and FBI and DEA, working to make sure that violent criminals who are here illegally are arrested.
Earlier today, Richmond 9th District Council member Nicole Jones released a statement saying in part, quote, "My heart is heavy at the news of the recent detainment in the city." She added, quote, "The 9th District is a place of rich and cultural diversity where everyone, regardless of immigration status, deserves to feel safe, living with dignity and without fear. I stand with our immigrant neighbors." End quote. We did get a statement from Mayor Danny Avula's office that reads in part, quote, "I will do everything within my power to protect and support Richmonders. Our local police officers will continue to focus on keeping neighborhoods safe through community policing, not on enforcing this federal policy." And we will.
Let me tell you something about that that's interesting. Because Southwood ain't actually far from me. And as a matter of fact, we used to play basketball over there. And if any ice raid happened over there, I'm gonna tell you something. It don't even take a sniff, because that's where we used to play basketball, right?
Damn.
And they used to be community center. That I know a guy that live over there. He retired and he lives over there now. But for the most part, that junk is probably 98% Hispanic.
Damn, are you serious, bro?
Yes, bro. Like, yes, that junk. And I'm talking about they was there about 15 years ago. They started to move in. They had a whole daggone area where they daggone took it's right behind a place called Shopping Center Southside Plaza. Daggone, so I remember you. Matter of fact, because they had some problems over there a year ago with they won't pick up the trash and they won't doing something. Them people daggone caused a daggone whole complaint. They made.
They wasn't picking up their trash.
Had to come pick that trash up or something. They won't come.
Wait, you said the motherfuckers wasn't picking up their trash, bro?
Yeah, man, that was going on a lot. Yeah.
The motherfuckers is nasty. Everybody, they're such hard workers. They're so this, man. Them motherfuckers are clean to clean.
No. Not them. I'm not. Well, not them. I'm talking about the city of Richmond was not picking up trash around apartments. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like the city, like. You remember when people want
I remember that, bro.
Like people would, like the COVID was going on, people won't come to work and people won't just pick up trash and stuff. That's what they made them come around and pick that shit up. Spanish went downtown to city council and made them up and get that shit.
Damn, dude, they got more power than black people in America. Oh shit.
They went down there. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, these immigrants got
because it was getting really bad over there. But matter of fact, I'm telling you, like, shit, man, that junkie, when I used to be over there when I was like 18, 19, maybe 20, I mean, I used to fuck with some girls over there, whatever. Matter of fact, I was messing around one time, messing around with an African girl. She married a white dude.
You said the African girl?
Yeah, she married a white dude.
I don't fuck with them African. That's why I don't fuck with them.
But
shit. The motherfuckers don't fuck with that. You know, I was telling somebody the other day, we don't even see Africans that much, but when you see them, they're not fucking with you, motherfucker. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Of course you don't see them that much because they don't fuck with you, dummy.
And then another girl messed around there. And then they used to get the man when we used to live in, they used to rob the shit out of motherfuckers, man. But they were robbing the Mexicans too over that jump.
I mean, I don't think it's right to rob people, but at the same time, look, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. These motherfuckers be walking around with a watch full of money, and see motherfuckers know they're fucking illegal immigrants, so they don't have no fucking bank account. So motherfuckers know they keep money on them. Come on, that shit's been going on since the fucking 90s, bro, 80s. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say what I've done. This is on the internet. I ain't gonna say I ain't put myself out there, but
now
I know. I'll just say I know about it. I know about
that. Man, shit, it's all right. I mean, I ain't worried about it. I'm just telling you, I just remember that shit happening because I used to be around there. Man, I've been around Southwood in years, bro. Like, I got to say, I ain't been around that motherfucker in a decade because I don't know nobody. I know the one guy live over there, but he retired and moved around there. I guess he said, I think it's a rent, like, I don't know if it was the rent treat or what, but I just know he moved around there. But Man, I think back in the day, that motherfucker, you could get a pop and ran that motherfucker like $450, bro. That shit was kind of cheap. Hey, $500, bro. I used to hang around that junk and like, so I know. Because we used to go there and play ball. Matter of fact, I was playing ball that day. My boy got dunked on. I sprained my ankle on the same day. So that was called the Southwood Community Center, and Lives would get there on Saturday morning, and we would go there and play basketball. It was a Saturday morning, or sometimes we went in the evening too. Man, we used to have team parties there. You know, like man, that building had good times. I don't even know if they even got the basketball court. I ain't been in that motherfucker in a decade. Longer than that, been about 15 years at least.
These motherfuckers took that motherfucker over. Shit, but see, you know, you want to come here but see, I can't get mad at you for taking advantage of this bullshit ass system that we got. I can't get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny that how they take advantage. You know what? It's kind of funny how they take advantage of the system. I'm kind of laughing at that shit because look how this system treats us, bro. Y'all get taken advantage of, that's fine because y'all try to take advantage of our people. So you got the Wabs, you got the Mexicans or the immigrants, not just the Hispanic immigrants, but you got all types of different immigrants from all different types of regions in this society, taking advantage of, especially Hispanics, taking advantage of the government. I think it's funny. Now I'm starting to think, you know what, this shit is funny, bro, because it's not funny, but then it is funny. You see what I'm saying? Because the thing is, it's not funny how they do us, and this country takes advantage of us, and it takes us for granted. But at the same time, it's like, when somebody doing you a certain way, and you kind of like it's out of your control, but then somebody else does them a certain way, that same person or the same entity, and does them the same way, and you kind of like feel a little bit of relief. It's kind of like that, man. Like, fuck it, man. I mean, but at the same time, bro, that lets you know there is no, like, all these laws and constitution shit is a bunch of bullshit. That lets you know that shit only applies to a lot of this shit only applies to certain people. It's profit over laws. What you gonna say?
Well, let me bring something up because I don't know about the rain outside. I can't tell tonight. Then it was getting windy, but look, I told the guy I'm meeting at this dealership. I was looking at stuff, guy. Let me give you a word of advice here. You might not even get it today, but the guy got to see. I told you guys be looking out. The guy said, "Hey, me." He said, "Look, I tell you, guy trying to sell me a Suburban on this and But look, but anyway, we talking shit. My buddy went down to Tappahannock, Virginia. He bought him a new truck, like a Dodge Ram or something, right? And whatever. But so I was looking, I was saying, damn. I said, there's equipment around. I said, sometime, I'm gonna give me like. I told him I would look into it. He said, "B, anytime you want a car, anything you want, call me." He said, "Look, I'm an independent dealer, whatever. You like, and you just give me the money, or you tell me what you want, and I go to the auction, and you go with me, pay it back." Because he was like, I got an auction card, I can get it. They want you just go with me. I got an auction card, so they allow him to get it at a different price than I would pulling it. So we trying. So I told him, I'm gonna see what you're talking about. Like I said, I ain't bought no car at auction, but if he can inspect it and all that, do all the lifting for me, then hey man, we'll work that out. You don't want to discuss all these plans on here like that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So, but it's always good to have people that hook you up or try to at least look out for you. So that's how I go, man. I mean, it is what it is. I told him, I try to catch up with him and stuff. It rained though. But let me say something about that. Matter of fact, let me bring this thing over to the NFL thing, because now they talking about CTE. Now, that's what the players usually have concussion problems. I'm like, why are they talking about CTE factors in his mass shooting? This guy ain't had no history of playing no damn professional football. I think he played high school, but
so unless it's an agenda, unless something, what I'm saying, it's an agenda.
Right now, investigators say the man, the deadly rampage in the New York City office building, was likely targeting the NFL. CBS News correspondent Michael George has more on why that's now becoming more clear. Good morning, Michael. What do we know?
Errol, good morning. We're learning more and more details about this. CBS News has obtained a note written by the gunman, 27-year-old Shane Tamura. Investigators recovered the
So
three-page
he wrote a
document
note.
from his
Now
wallet,
he got a
which
note.
he referenced the
I'm
brain
surprised they
disease
didn't say that he had a
CTE.
manifesto.
Now, in the note, the gunman wrote he believed he had the brain disease and apparently blamed the NFL. Now, CTE, or chronic...
Wait, pause it for a second. He's not even an
traumatic
NFL player. What are you talking
encephalopathy.
about?
No, if he had the disease, it cannot be diagnosed until after.
Has he even played college sport? How could you blame and talk about NFL and CTE, dude, when you never even played? BJ, bro, I told you even before I heard all these details, BJ. What did I tell you? This shit is a hoax, bro. Didn't I say that? Well, see, if I'm telling you shit, okay, so that's how you know people are full of shit. If you're talking to somebody, I know you're gonna. I'm gonna let you finish. If you're talking to somebody, whatever, and they're saying little certain shit, and they're telling you a story, and certain parts of the story don't add up, what are you gonna honestly? And you know what I'm saying? What are you going to actually, and then they're consistent in doing that. Aren't you going to come to the conclusion that this person is full of shit and they're probably making a lot of the shit, if not the whole story up? It's like we use this kind of thinking on regular people. We use this kind of thinking on regular people we know, but when it comes down to mainstream media and these fucking weird ass crazy stories that they conjure up, we don't use it on that. We don't use that kind of.
Let me say something. Let me say something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say something very interesting. Like a friend of mine just sent me something. I ain't gonna say it's weird, but it's weird because earlier they were talking about, like, I was looking through stuff. I was scrolling through stuff earlier today, and I didn't even report it because I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. People got Lyme disease. Well, one thing you get Lyme disease, you gotta get bit by a tick, right? You heard of Lyme disease, right?
Right.
Now, come to a sudden, the guy said, I didn't even know this even happened. The guy just sent it to me. Hey, man, did you know Justin Timberlake got diagnosed with Lyme disease? I'm like, what? But they were just talking about Lyme disease a week ago,
right?
About the effects of Lyme disease is increasing. So now
all of a sudden, a celebrity gets it.
Justin Timberlake gets it, right? I'm like, do you really believe Justin Timberlake got this, or is this just some BS they trying to goddamn to make you aware to take you some medicine? Because just yesterday. And Dr. Oz, Donald Trump, and everywhere. Donald Trump was talking about this new
You got two actors. Keep going, my bad.
Now they were talking about this new medication, this new app with social media companies where they could track your private healthcare data if you opt into it or whatever. Then maybe I ain't opt into it, but yeah. And they were talking about that. So it's just mighty funny that Justin Timberlake gets Lyme disease or reported Lyme disease at the same time. Just something to think about there, because they were just talking about Lyme disease a couple weeks ago and that stuff like that. So it's very interesting. Just something to think about. But I'm gonna play it. Matter of fact, let me one of the last things I play before I go because I can't believe
a person has died. Now we do know Tamura played football at his high school in Southern California, but never for the NFL. Officials say he had a documented mental health history. CBS News 24/7 spoke with the director of Boston University's CTE Center, Dr. Ann McKee. She says it's an injury that can impact anyone.
It affects contact sport athletes at all levels of play. It's a common misperception that it's restricted to professional athletes, but it is a disease that can affect amateur athletes, high school level athletes, as well as college. But it's a disease that's once triggered, it gets progressively worse as the person ages.
And investigators say Tamura drove all the way from Las Vegas to New York in the days before the shooting. 4 people, including an NYPD officer, were killed. NFL Commissioner
Let me say
Roger.
something about that. What the chance of a motherfucker driving to Las Vegas and New York to kill somebody? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Dude, the motherfucker drove, dude. You know how so he wasn't dude. You know how long that takes, man? You know how long that takes, bro? You know how many days that takes?
2 or 3 days.
And the thing is, too, saying they said somebody gave him that gun.
So
y'all pushing the narrative like he's a successful
if he came
dude.
by himself, it took 3 days, bro.
But they said on another story, I seen that they said that somebody gave him that gun, the rifle or something.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
They said that he had a pistol or some kind of gun in the car or some shit like. But see, they always do that, dude. They always hit a motherfucker with an AR or shit, and then they always say that he has a handgun too.
And he had a mental health condition. Don't forget he had a mental health condition now.
I'm surprised since he's so-called mixed. I don't know what the fuck he mixed or Spanish. I don't know what the fuck he look like he mixed. I'm surprised they're not. I mean, that's usually the shit that they use on white suspects. Oh, he has mental health disorder because they, like I said, a white or a regular white motherfucker will not do that. That's according to their logic. You see what I'm saying? You know, white people are so wholesome and pure, they don't do stuff like that. Remember. You know what I'm saying?
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
Justin Timberlake is opening up about a deeply personal health battle, revealing he's been quietly living with Lyme disease. The Grammy-winning artist shared the diagnosis in a heartfelt Instagram post, reflecting on the physical toll of his Forget Tomorrow tour. "I've been battling some health issues," Timberlake wrote, "and was diagnosed with Lyme disease, which I don't say so you feel bad for me, but to shed some light on what I've been up against behind the scenes." The 44-year-old explained that the illness, a bacterial infection spread by ticks, left him with severe nerve pain, fatigue, and feelings of sickness while performing, calling it relentlessly debilitating both mentally and physically. Timberlake said the diagnosis helped him understand what his body had been trying to tell him for months. Faced with a difficult decision to stop touring or push through, Timberlake chose to keep going.
Stop on, man. Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up, yo. I know a dude that got bit by a tick named, Clank supposedly got bit by a tick named Lionel. He died in like a week. The man was
Damn, dude. Are you serious? Them ticks can kill you like that?
Yeah, they contagious, yeah.
That line, yeah. Damn, I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah.
"The joy that performing brings me far outweighs the fleeting stress my body was feeling," he wrote. Now, as he looks ahead to the future, Timberlake says he's grateful he pushed through, proving his own mental tenacity and creating moments with fans that he'll never forget. But not all of Timberlake's recent performances have hit the right note. The singer is now facing backlash after a video from the Electric Castle Festival in Romania showed him barely singing during his hit "Can't Stop the Feeling."
But let me say this, because the guy, he had an issue, right? Because he used to hunt deers and stuff like that, and that guy got bit by a tick, and I think he died or whatever. That was about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, actually, but I knew his girlfriend. But yeah, so what I'm saying is this he going on for months. I just find it kind of odd.
Yeah, right.
That long, but yeah, tick can get you. But they usually they call them deer ticks or some shit like that. You know,
what kind of environment do they be in?
Woods. I mean, where I guess they be on the deers or whatever. Probably hot climate. But I don't know what Justin Timberlake was at or whatever. As a matter of fact, I told you they were talking about Lyme disease a couple weeks ago. It's mighty funny. Justin Timberlake, they say the one guy. I don't know, man. This day, I ain't even gonna say true. I just want to know how he lasted long. Well, he probably got better again, but it's just weird, man. I just went like that. I knew they say he was sick or something, but something to think about there.
Hey, you want to? You said you got to go.
Yeah, I'm about to get out here in a couple minutes. But matter of fact, let me see. Let me
think about that homeless, because I wanted to, because you know my channel, they fucking StreamYard fucked me over and shit.
You said somebody homeless?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that homeless situation.
It's funny, I was like, someone can't relate. The guy was talking about going to feed the homeless today.
Dude, that Trump shit, dude. But see, that's my thing is this with this, right? I think that's some bullshit because there's no funding for, because it's all. But Jimmy Dore broke that shit down, dude. I sent you. If you don't play right now.
Yeah, I know. I saw Jimmy Dore thing. I'll play a little bit of it. I saw it. Yeah, initiative. There's an initiative for the states and stuff.
Man, dude, all that. Dude.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They make money off of the homeless, bro. So it's like they're not good. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, this is just to push the police state. This is to lock these motherfuckers up. And then you do this right now at a time where you cut the social programs. You know what I'm saying? You cutting Medi-Cal and all that, right? You see what I'm saying? This is gonna make more people homeless. You fucking firing all these people. They said 300,000 supposedly black people, black women or something got fired from federal or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You got all this going on, bro. This is manufacturing. They manufacture the poverty, bro. They make these situations. That's problem reaction solution right there. Like, and then there's no funding. Oh man, we're gonna send them into rehab for one. Not everybody that's fucking homeless is on drugs or mentally ill, bro. A lot of people fall on fucking hard time. You know what I'm saying? And then, but there's no funding for these places though. There's no in the bill. There's no funding to build more fucking homeless.
And that individual suffering from addiction or mental health.
He's just like Ronald Reagan, because didn't Ronald Reagan close those facilities? You see that? You see how it correlates? My bad.
No, you're right.
Struggles are able to get help that they need. Well, if that's how it works out, hooray. If that's how this works out, I don't understand why cities and states can't do that. This is from USA Today. Trump just signed an order pushing cities and states to remove homeless people from the streets. Now, we had Dr. Drew on, and he explained to us that there's laws that you can't just take somebody off the street if they don't want to be taken. But get this.
So look,
Trump signed an order directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to seek to reverse federal and state judicial precedents and end consent decrees that limit local and state governments' ability to move homeless people from streets and encampments into treatment centers. That's what this says. I'm reading it to you. So he's trying to get the law reversed that makes it hard for you to get a homeless person off the streets and into treatment. The move, first reported by USA Today, also redirects federal funds to ensure the homeless people impacted are transferred to rehabilitation, treatment, and other facilities, though it was not clear how much money would be allocated.
No, it sounds great, but in light of the other things, what are the odds?
What are the odds that they do this correctly?
Imagine being able to build the tool you need just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation.
Some police
under the order, which the White House has titled "Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets," Bondi is also required to work with the Secretaries of Health and Human Services. By the way, do we have places to put these people? I thought they closed all the mental health hospitals and treatment centers.
Did I just say that,
Do they all mad? Are they all mad?
Being deported to countries with health care?
Yeah, are they going to deport them to countries with health care? Under the order, which the White House has titled "Ending Crime and Disorder on American Streets," Bondi is also required to work with the Secretaries of Health and Human Services, that means RFK, Housing and Urban Development, and Transportation, to prioritize federal grants to states and cities that enforce prohibition on open illicit drug use, urban camping and loitering, and urban squatting, and track the location of sex offenders. So this seems like more of a carrot approach that Trump is I'm going to give money to states and cities that do this. Are
they going to cover up for the sex offenders like they do with the rich ones? Are they going to do that for the homeless ones?
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, in a statement to USA Today, said Trump is delivering on his commitment to make America safe again and end homelessness across America. We'll see. By removing vagrant criminals from our street and redirecting resources towards substance abuse programs, the Trump administration will ensure that Americans feel safe in their own communities and that individuals suffering from addiction or mental health struggles are able to get help that they need. Well, if that's how it works out, hooray. If that's how this works out, I don't understand why cities and states can't do that. Like, we spent $24 billion in California the last few years trying to help homeless people. But of course, none of that money saw it to the homeless people. It went right into the pockets of the non-government organization. So instead of the government just hiring a bunch of people to go help homeless people and get them into...
Yeah, so like I said, this is just like an initiative thing.
So that's okay. It's initiative to the states, but see, that's stupid. Yeah. And see, watch. You're gonna see certain blue states do it too. Some, but you're gonna see red states doing this shit like a motherfucker, bro. It's all stupid. People are dumb, bro. You see, honestly, I don't think, and I don't like about topics like this. That's not homelessness to me is not debatable, bro. But a lot of them, they should do this and that. You know what I'm saying? That for one, that's somebody else's business, bro. It's not my fucking business, right? And for two, a lot of people
today the dream of
a lot of people go through shit and they're scarred. That's why they're homeless. Motherfuckers don't just wake up one day. You know what? I want to be homeless. Come on, man. Fuck.
Well, look, Well, this is the last one I'm gonna play right here before I go. But listen to this, because I want you to hear this, because you were talking about homeless, and that's basically talking about police state. Now listen to this now.
Easily transportable electronic medical records finally becomes a reality. This will allow patients to easily transmit information from one doctor to another, even if they're different networks and using different record-keeping systems. No matter what system they use, they're all transferable. The new standards will also make it, see mine, please. I don't want to see. I don't know about you. They have all sorts of things, sir. They can tell you exactly what your problem is going to be in 6 years. We can do it. You know, they have all these different things. I don't know if they work or not, but I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. If they got a problem, I don't want to know about it right now. But it is amazing what they're doing. I don't know. Does it actually work? Can they do that? All right. Well, then I'm glad I said I don't want to know. But thanks to this announcement, healthcare providers across the country will also finally be able to kill the clipboard. It's an expression that's used, capital, with a capital C, kill the clipboard. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs.
All right. So let me say this in closing. The conference called Making Technology Great Again, right? And basically tell you can transfer your medical records and push a button. That is very, very skeptical right there. That is like, whew. I mean, they already doing it, but damn, I mean, this is, I mean, but people fall for it. I mean, you know, people do it. I mean, you know, hey, look, give me a shot, buddy. Hey, look, give me a shot. He tell me, but he also said they can also tell you what they're gonna do in 6 years, though. So they already got the profile on you. And this is way out of bounds here in a lot of cases. But this is what the triage is. This is how they do it now. I mean, they've been doing this for a while. So it's not, but this is part of that fourth industrial revolution, WEF stuff too. So hey baby. The police state wins again. Go ahead and share the information, man.
Man, dude. Yeah, man, this stuff. I just think, you know, people are just too desensitized, man.
I understand.
And then too, like we just said, the 85% don't, you know, are just ignorant, dumb, deaf, dumb, and blind. So that's what it really is too. And when you say something outside of that, then they're gonna look at you and you're gonna call you names and then call you crazy and conspiracy theories. But see, I get it. That's the white, you know, establishment and this white CIA type, you know what I'm saying? Bullshit. They push those narratives because the CIA made up that term, conspiracy theorists. You know what I'm saying? Around that time when JFK got assassinated. So, you know, it's just like it's on you. If people, you know, give you the information, you don't want to take it, you don't want to grab it. That's on you. Especially when it's so-called black men giving people or black women giving people the information, they're really gonna be skeptical on it. A lot, especially our people. A lot of us, our people want to hear these white motherfuckers tell us this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people, you know what I'm saying, when we come with an intelligence that we come with, a lot of our people kind of second guess it, which is, you know, that's on you. But I mean,
it's analysis.
Right. This is a police, but this is definitely police state type stuff. All these policies, you know, me and BJ have been telling people this, you know, since when Trump got in here, we knew what stuff wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff this dude was doing with the Doge, that was a red flag. Then the immigration thing, that was for camera and all this, you know, all these red flags. I mean, my thing is, I don't need, once you show me who you are, I'm not going to keep, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep, that's it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm already independent anyway. I don't rock with either party anyway. So that makes it even easier for me to do. You see what I'm saying? I don't mess with none of these parties. You see the reasons why. Look at even like the Cincinnati thing. They blowing that even though it's political, but there's still a big race thing into that. And it's funny because those people that got you know, they got beat up or whatever, the white people were immigrants from Russia. So, you know, and that's another thing too with this immigration shit that you know, we all pointed that out. That's bullshit. That's just for the private prisons. They're selective in choosing because a lot of these hospitality workers and a lot of these gardeners and farmers and shit, they're not going nowhere. So you know, all this shit is just a smoke screen. Don't believe and trust nothing the government does. You know what somebody said the other day when I was on somebody's live? I was like, oh shit, that was some crazy shit they said. A lot of these people want to go viral, bro. These are viral. The government and these people create viral moments, bro. That's all it is, bro. It's you see what I'm saying? It's all propaganda. It's all you know what I'm saying? It's all stuff to put on the news feed. You see what I'm saying? So I mean,
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand everything you're saying on it, but to make it a shorter phrase, they make it vow for influence. That's why they call them influencers.
Ooh.
That's how you break that down, man. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, man.
No, you're right. That's for influence.
I told you years ago. I mean, clown show. The circus is open for business. You want to be in the circus? Hey, man, hang out in the circus. Hey, look. By the way, they are closing a lot of amusement parks though, so even the clown show getting smaller.
And you know what I think why that is too? I think travel. I think people's money is funny, bro. People's money is funny. You know what I'm saying? Now it's Disneyland. They haven't seen. They're seeing decreases. People travel industry is not right. But shit is not right in this country, bro. We giving it just like, for example, you give $1 billion to Israel, right? And they got universal health care. I don't really like to say universal health care, but they got free health care. But yet, meanwhile, we're the ones giving billions to Israel, and we don't have free health care. I mean, when you see and hear shit like that, something should like click in your mind and tell you something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? You know, we get taken advantage of. You know, America's allies get taken advantage of. The American citizens get taken advantage of. The only motherfuckers that don't get taken advantage of is the Creed motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But they're all the same thing because I told you the white boys go when a Creed person goes to jail or goes to prison, he's gonna run white anyway. So it's all the same. It's all bullshit. So y'all can hit me up at xfreaknitty you know what I mean, on YouTube and then also on Instagram. And the other Instagram pages, Frank Jones 8115. Don't believe these people, man. Don't believe these Europeans. These Europeans want to act like they fighting between them and the Creeds and all that shit is all fucking. They helping each other, bro. That's all. They're on lockstep.
Hey, look.
My thing is they're gonna help all these other immigrants and not gonna help these Creed immigrants. Nah, that's not how that works.
Let me say this to you. So, tell you what happened about that thing. They fight. Close. They gotta tell you this. So yeah, I was at the camp today or whatever, yeah. So I think the guy, he was trying to figure out what to do because he was, you know, they want to take the kids, feed the homeless, show the other side of life, but then the kids wanted to go to Top Golf. That's like a meeting pot. They play like virtual golf. I mean, they play golf and stuff like that. I think they even got a virtual golf room, but no, that might be the park. But they got like a thing where you go out there and golf and stuff. You eat, have parties there, whatever. So I think the kids, they started, you know, I think 2 of them got into it over. I think they counseled it. I think they went to go see the homeless or feed the homeless or whatever they were doing. But yeah, they were trying to do some activities like that because I mean next week's the last week. But they you know, sometimes even kids, we get bad with you mess with other kids, fight all the time. Give me my stuff back, So, but yeah, that's how it went. But what I'm saying is that that thing with the homeless thing, but I mean homeless, I have to break it down in the whole context, but homeless don't necessarily mean the people on the street. You got people that's, lost their apartment, living with their mom and dad. You got people that sleeping in their cars, because they don't want to pay. And you got some people, I know a guy that down here, he just stays at the river because he said he just wanted to be off the grid. So it's levels to this homeless thing. So everybody's situation ain't the same in this homeless thing. So you gotta, what kind of homeless are you talking about is the question. That's true. So, because some people just don't want to be severe. They just say, hey, man, I know guys that, I know a guy, shit. I ain't say I was homeless with my mom when she got tired of staying on Midlothian and she moved my aunt and stuff. She just told me, you can stay in the house all you want, but if you can't pay the electric bill and light bill and stuff like that, he wouldn't move out anyway. So I did shit. It got me damn apartment and shit at the time.
Facts, real
shit. So I mean, and the nights where the water wasn't on or whatever. The lights weren't on. Shit. So that was nice sleeping in the car. I was like 19 years old or whatever. But because my neighborhood, it got so crazy, my mom was like, she was tired of motherfuckers busting out the windows and shooting and shit and all this other stuff. She just got the fuck on. But yeah, that's how it went. She like, you can stay around if you want to. So I would, You know, sometimes I would go to the gym, take a shower, or I would stay at one of my friends' house or something like that, or I fuck around with a lot of chicks at the time, so I do that. I mean, I hang out there. I wouldn't hang out at their place per se, but I take a shower, fuck with them, whatever. So, I mean, the level of this homeless stuff, because you can have a house, but if you ain't, some people say they ain't got lights and water, you might well be homeless. Some people say that, but that's just how it went. But, just something to think about. So, but this is definitely a money play, of course, for the states. So some people do it, some people won't, whatever. But everybody homeless ain't on drugs neither. Just like everybody living.
That's what I be saying, man. Like, what the? That's some white stereotype shit, bro. That's a stereotype.
Everybody, everybody that lives in the projects sitting on their ass either. So it's
exactly, bro. Yeah, like they're trying to make it seem like motherfuckers ain't working and shit. Dude, a lot of these people the whole thing that's the outrage about this shit is a lot of people on these most people on these social programs are working, bro.
Oh, 50%, yes.
So it's just like see, this is not the 80s and the 60s and 70s no more, where motherfuckers used to have those stereotypes. Oh, welfare queen. This is not that no more. And then plus, what's wrong with people? Clinton made in '96 that welfare reform. That was a horrible bill, by the way. He made that in that welfare reform. He put initiatives to welfare to work. You had to work to get the fucking welfare, and that was over 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So what's wrong with people? People don't see. If you don't know politics, my thing is a lot of these dudes don't know politics or whatever they should or history. They should just shut the fuck up. If I don't know something, I'm gonna be quiet or I'm gonna ask some questions. I'm not gonna.
I'll break it down. I'll break it down in a easy analysis. Let me put it this way, because I know guys that I grew up with, and they be asking me sometimes, like, they get it, white people, but they're like, why? Because we were playing at parks and all that, and all this stuff. I mean, half the neighborhoods we grew up, well, I mean, they're hardly, the neighborhood you grew up in Southside Richmond, dude, half this shit is hollering, and they got all these bike lanes, all this shit, man. Like, man, how we try to figure out, sometimes we be sitting there talking about how we survived that shit, right? And we laugh at it. Guys got locked up, in jail, dead, whatever. And we be looking at this stuff, and then when you tell these young kids about all this stuff, they look at you like, well, that ain't happening there. You won't live in there then, buddy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean, dang, y'all was actually, people was actually killing each other with drugs. I said, yeah, they were doing that. I mean, they were selling gummies. They were doing all types of bullshit. So, I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, junkies got beat up on the corner. Junkie go beat somebody. That lady, my mom's friend, Teresa, she lived in they got on 27th Street townhome now. She used to come to my house every day. I said, what's wrong with that lady? Next thing you know, the lady freebased in the apartment, died, overdose or some shit. All right. So I mean, that happened when I was like 10 years old. I'm like, what happened? What happened to her? Oh, she died. She injected cocaine into her veins and she killed herself or something like that. I ain't know nothing about that shit, man. Right? But I had to learn what freebasing is. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff, man. So it's not. That's why I said when people talk about, I said, bro, I had to tell my buddy, I ain't getting no harm, bro. I don't have to listen to these white boys for a damn thing. Because I was around it. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to the guy the other day, man. He said, man, I remember when you used to come to the barbershop, man, and hang out with us and stuff like that. And, buy them little bootleg CDs and shit, right? He was laughing at me, man. He said, man, I said, well, when the guy, man, he had health problems and he locked up and shit. I said, damn, man, that guy always looked out for me. But they did raid that shop about 4 or 5 times for them daggone bootleg CDs and shit. But the crazy part, police officers were coming in and buy the damn CDs, then they raid the damn shit. This shit was kind of crazy. But yeah, the guy, he always looked out for me and shit. And even after that, he was still, he was like, look, bro, I got to do it in my house, something like that. But, I mean, like I said, man, he sent me mixtapes and all that stuff. And I actually take you a lot of his mixtapes. I still got the CD case downstairs where the guy used to send me stuff. And I listen to half the damn CDs and then I'll put it in my Serato program and stuff like that. And I always thank him for, looking out for me. But a lot of people, I'm not saying that money, they say money change people. Money really to me don't change. It actually show you who you are.
Where you are.
So, like I said, some of them guys, like, they got some money, they moved away, whatever. Some of them, but I'm like, when they get into this thing with, this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 and then you acting like you oblivious to stuff. I say, hold on, bro. You grew up around me. What the fuck? So I mean, it's kind of like what you're saying that desensitized. No, I'm gonna say this in closing. It ain't desensitized. It is desensitized, but guess what? You trying to keep up with the Joneses, but guess what? You wanted the Joneses back then. So why you want to be with the Joneses now?
Facts. And look at the psychology with this. They got these rich ass people, these elite ass motherfuckers, using these talking points. Oh, you're welfare queen and poor and all this shit. Oh, this and that, and freeloader and all this, and then you know what I'm saying, and all this. And they got us using that, and we can't. And it's funny because look at the psychology with this. These rich motherfuckers have never been poor. You can't relate to being poor. We're more closer to being poor than they are, dude. So it's like, you can't trick me to think like you, a rich elite motherfucker, towards my own people, dude.
Before you came in.
That's weird, dude. That's some weird shit.
Before you came on the first hour, I did play that. Go pull up on YouTube. They say Americans feel like $800,000 to get them by. Pull it up later when you get a chance.
Right.
You see it.
That won't even get you by, dude.
But shoot, just take your time, brother. Have a great day. Take your time, and I get you holler a little bit.
All right, for sure. Good show, man. Salute.
Yes, sir.